There we go. There we go. Hello. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Top of the morning to you. Sorry, I just ran in. I had my kids got an award at some ice cream place. So I had to run in there and take pictures and say what's up. Not because I'm a personality, just because I love my children. Shout out, man. We got a lot on this show today. I'm not wearing my advertisement, which annoys me, but the shop is open. You guys can help the show. You guys can help the show move forward at the John Browner Podcast Shop over at Shopify. We already got a couple things purchased, so I appreciate y'all who did purchase. But everybody else, head over there, help the show, chip in a little something to keep this thing going and keep the shop open. That way we can keep this thing moving. If you want to be a part of the show, you guys know I love to hear and talk to you guys. The John Browner Podcast at gmail.com is how you get in touch with me. That's how you become a part of the show. And also, don't forget our March to 300. We are on our way to 300. We are making good ground. I think we got less than 50 or around 50. I didn't check today, so that's on me. My bad, y'all. But on the show today, we got some interesting conversations on the show today. I know you saw what happened last night down at Petco. We're going to talk about that because there's a lot to that. I don't know who you want to blame. If blame is the word you want to use for about what happened last night, I don't know if that's true. What I do know is true. Whoa, this shouldn't be in there. Hold on, what's happening here? There we go. What I do know to be true, 100% what I do know to be true, is no matter what, you gotta blame somebody. You got to blame somebody. So we're going to talk about the blame game and what happened last night at Petco. Because is it Mason Miller's fault? Or is it the first baseman's fault? We have video. Normally, I try to stay away from video because I don't want the show to not be able to reach its full potential because of YouTube rules. But I needed video for this. And because I have video for this, I got video for something else. So if you ever see video on this show, just know, I don't give a damn about what happens to it because this video is very important. It's like JD's photo yesterday. I had to show that photo no matter what. So I went through the trouble of holding it up to the screen if I had to. But that's no here or there. And we also going to talk about the Knicks. We're going to talk about what you saw from the Knicks. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about what happened with the Cavs because that was utterly embarrassing in a way you oftentimes don't see people get embarrassed. But my dog John Gennaro is coming on the show today to talk all things basketball. He's a big Padre guy too, so he can chime in on what happened. So we'll have it's a big 2-for-1 when John comes in. John's my guy. Been friends with John for almost 10 years now, something crazy like that. Started working with him at 1090, and we stay friends after that. And he's got a Padres pod going, and so we'll talk to him. Also, I want to give a big shout out to the people over at the Sporting Tribune. The Sporting Tribune, this show is also aired on the Sporting Tribune's X account. You can catch me on their nightly show as well on the Sporting Tribune. Just head over to YouTube, type in the Sporting Tribune, head over to X, type in the Sporting Tribune, give those guys a look. Real good group of guys, a lot of good sports, really good basketball conversations if you guys are into basketball. And the same thing will happen during baseball and football, but basketball is important right now because we're at the stages, so we talk a lot of basketball on there. And I'll have some of those guys start appearing on this show as well. So shout out to Ross McCausey for making that happen for me and stepping up and helping a brother out. Now, let's get down to business. Does Mason Miller have a weakness? Have we found the crack in the impenetrable armor of what we believe to have been Mason Miller? Now, let's go over this because Freddie Freeman killed you last night, but Manny Machado canceled out that kill for a little bit. Then you take a 2-0 lead because Andujar just keeps bombing him, which I love to see, by the way. Love to see. I also got to give respect to Kanan. I thought that this was going to be a 10-12 run game. He only gave up 3 runs. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, so he held his own. So no beef with him. He did what a starter in that position has to do. Estrada gave up a run, and obviously Miller gave up a run. And let's talk about the Miller run for a second here. So I'm going to show you this video, and then we're going to talk about this video as it's going. First of all, what? You can see how pissed he is that this ball gets away from him. The guy makes it all the way to third because people aren't used to bad things happening when Mason Miller's on the mound. When Mason Miller takes the mound, the game typically is over. The game typically is over when Mason Miller takes the mound. So let's dive into this in a way that a lot of people won't, but this is the way I like to talk about these things. When you watch Mason Miller throw that ball away, the number one thing I thought was, why? Why? You're the most unhittable thing going in Major League Baseball right now when it comes to a closer. You're the most, in baseball as a pitcher, when it comes to a closer, you're the most unhittable thing in probably a generation. Why dabble with that? Who cares? You're throwing the ball 100 miles an hour. Let the catcher throw him out. Now, I'm assuming this is Ty France. Shout out to JD. This is what happens. And again, I'm not gonna bang on Ty France. I'm not gonna bang on Ty France, but I'm gonna slap glass after I block the shot. You got to catch that ball, buddy. You got to catch that ball. And this is what happens when you don't have full-time guys at positions. Now, I'm not saying Ty France isn't a first baseman. The Padres defensively have been very good with the exception of one game they had in Milwaukee where it was just like, they didn't hit the alarm clock. So I don't necessarily have a problem with how Ty France at first base and their ability to switch guys in and out of first base. I don't have a problem with that. That's not where my issue comes in at. My issue comes in when you have a guy at a position, when he's playing multiple positions, he's not a master at that position, he can handle the position. The fact that this ball got away from Ty France, which it was in his radius to catch, he probably thought like me, why the hell would he throw the ball over here? You're Mason Miller, bro. The play's that way. So, but Ty France got to come up with that ball. And even after the runner made it all the way to third, believe it or not, I still had confidence that now just make sure they don't hit the ball. Because I believe in Mason Miller enough to fully go. And that's what I said when that happened. I went, and it's still going to strike him out. Now just don't let him hit the ball. But, a big but, gigantic size but. Contact. All they needed was contact. They got contact, and they ended up getting the run in. I got to tell you, man, Mason Miller has been unhittable for a very long time in a Padre uniform. His entire stint as a member of the San Diego Padres coming out of the bullpen, he has been unhittable. What happened last night, I don't think it changes anything. I really don't. If anything, a player as great as he is, in a position that he is, he's going to go work on that throw to first base. A great player looks at a mistake that they made in a big moment, because last night was a big moment. You got the Dodgers in the building. They bring him in to hold it at 4-4, and he couldn't do it. A great player then goes back into the lab, gets in the film room. He going to get with Ruben Niebla, and he's going to go, how did this happen? Ruben's going to go, Ty France got to catch that ball. And inside, Mason Miller's like, bro, you got to catch that ball. But as a professional, as a legend, Mason Miller's going to go, all right, I got to figure out a way to get that ball to his body so he doesn't have to reach. So he's going to work on those mechanics. He's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. In a long baseball season, again, I say this on the show all the time, and I was religious for saying this on Kaplan and Cruz. Shout out to my brothers. Baseball is a very long season. And if that's the only, blemish we get from Mason Miller, I'm okay with that. That ain't the ball going toward the plate. That's his specialty. He ain't known for pickoffs, buddy. I'm not going to lose no sleep because Mason Miller threw a ball sideways on a pickoff that there's a good chance Ty France probably should have gotten. I'm more concerned. And by the way, I thought that they battled in that game. These are two good teams in a playoff atmosphere. That's why these series are so important. And I've said that from the very beginning. These wins aren't bigger than other wins, but it's important to walk away from these games with wins because think about the environment you were in last night. Another packed house, so shout out to the people who paid the tickets at Petco. Yesterday's game, the first game, 1-0. Mason Miller comes in, slams the door. You got a 4-4 game now going into the top of the ninth inning. You bring Mason Miller in. I'm thinking, all right, well, see you in the bottom of the ninth. But he gives up the run. So these games are putting the players in positions of tension. And pressure busts pipes, man. It really does. It really does. The only way you get diamond is to squeeze these coals, man. And so I thought last night was a great opportunity for these guys to be in a pressure playoff level situation. And Mason Miller made a mistake. I'd rather him make it now than make it in October. I'd rather him make that mistake now than make it in late September. So I trust Mason Miller. I know Mason Miller's going to go back into the lab. Mason Miller's going to get himself together. And Mason Miller going to come back, and he's going to work on that. And I don't think we're going to see that again. I really don't. But if we do, here comes another problem. If we do, this thing is a signal to baseball. If for some reason, somehow magically you get on base, just run. Just run. Because they picked the guy off, by the way. If he doesn't rush the throw, they get this guy because he clearly jumped. They had him. And I think because they had him, and this is why I think he threw the ball so far, because they had him caught. He went a little too quick, and Ty France was a little too slow to react. And baseball is a game of inches. Mostly all sports really feels like at times it's a game of inches. And that was a game of inches because if it's a little to the left, what happens. If it's a little to the right, Ty France at least knocks it down, and he doesn't get the third. And I think the Padres hold. But listen, hey, Tito, I ain't buying that, dog. That was a great battle. There was a great battle at the plate. I don't think he wore Mason Miller down. I think Mason Miller made a mistake. That's it. What's happening? What is here? What? All right. Dad, behave, bro. So you post a comment in the chat that opens discussion and someone responds. So it's got a chat comment. Listen, man. Hey, man, y'all behave in there. Y'all behave in there. Second, JD, I hope, hey, JD, it's good to see you out and about, bro. I'm glad you survived that trolley ride. Let me see. It happened because it was the Dodgers, and they always get all the bounces their way, like 2 games in a row. Dublin, yeah. Well, when you're good, things tend to break your way when you're good, buddy. That is what it is. Yeah, the ball down the line off the bag again. They're good. When you're good, you put yourself in positions for good things to happen to you. Same thing happened in the World Series with the ball getting stuck in the outfield. They're good. And so they're always in position for something to happen because they're always competing. We need to get like that. Padres need to get like that. The Padre fan base needs to get used to things getting lucky for them because you've now put yourself in positions to be competitive. Don't hate the game, dog. Don't hate the game. Let me get John in here on this because I know John's got something to say about what happened last night. Ladies and gentlemen, John's my second guest. The first guest on this show was kicking it with Coach because I don't know anything about soccer. So Coach Alex came in, helped us out with some SDFC talk, and now apparently they're on a break for something. I don't know. They won't be back for a year or years or months. I don't know. But Coach will help us out with that. But my dog John, what's up, baby? John Gennaro, who's got a lot of things going. He can tell you about them. He's got. Let me see. This is a skinny. Let me see. Let's go with this.
Hey, it's wild to have. So he has a weakness right under my face, just the whole time. Yeah. Just leave it there.
You know what? Listen, because I'm in charge of all this. You ain't got to live life like that. I'm in charge of all these buttons, baby. You ain't got to live like that. We're gonna clean that up. My bad.
How you doing, JB? You got some trash Padres take sometimes, man. But that's what happens when you're doing a show every day. Something that they're not all winners.
Hey man, listen. I'm like Mason Miller. I'm gonna save some, most of them, but some of them I'm gonna throw them away. So I'm gonna throw them away.
All right,
So
no, I gotta speak up on this.
Please.
Okay, it was not a perfect throw from Mason Miller. He
True.
panicked. He panicked, right? Like we saw it. He made the move, and the guy started running to second base. And what happens then is you have time to relax and make the right throw. And instead, he was like, "Oh shit, I gotta get him." Can I curse? I can curse.
Come on, bro.
I'm just checking. And then answering myself. So it was not a perfect throw. Ty France, who has been hitting very well for the Padres this season, was not brought in to hit. He was brought in to be the defensive stalwart at first base. He won a Gold Glove at first base last year. That's why they brought him in. They were like, hey, if Castellanos can't get down at first base, if Gavin Sheets is going to be a mess at first base, we're going to have Ty France there for all the moments when it's like, hey, we got a 1-run lead. Here comes the bullpen, all that stuff. He has to catch that ball. Mason Miller made a less than perfect throw. It's not his fault. You have a Gold Glove first baseman over there. He has to catch that ball. They both take a little bit of fault, but it's like 85% Ty France, like 15% Mason Miller. But I popped on here late because I was looking up some stats because we were talking about the NBA. So I don't know. Did you talk about Jeremiah Estrada?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I said he gave up. I went down the box score of who did what. So I talked about how he gave up a run, but I didn't go into any detail with it because to me that's not important to me. What's important is the moment in which the ball was thrown away.
I'm gonna make this important to you because you're right, but you're missing something. The whole thing where you're like, hey, why is the ball always bouncing the Dodgers' way? Because they have enough talent and they're constantly ready for the opportunity, right? They're never
agree.
And actually sometimes the Dodgers will just throw a game away. Like they were playing the Angels last week and they were just like, we're going to throw this game. They called up a bunch of pitchers from the minor leagues and they were like, bullpen day. And it was all these dudes making like their major league, like first ever appearance. They threw like a combined 2-hitter with a bunch of trash dudes from the minors against the Angels because the Angels suck. But they do stuff like that to make sure their guys are ready. But that's not the thing. The thing is, because they have won now multiple titles, this group, the bulk of this group has won multiple titles with the Dodgers. Dave Roberts has won multiple titles. I'll give him even the Mickey Mouse 2020 title. They've won multiple titles. So when something could potentially go bad, and it's like it's a ball is bouncing and it could potentially go bad for the Padres or bad for the Dodgers are like, whatever, man. It's a long season. As long as we win these games in October, no one's going to care. And meanwhile, the Padres are like, we have to win these games now to prove that we can do it in October when it really matters. And it's like my buddy Vinny Goodwill, who I used to produce his podcast, used to call this a tight butthole. The Padres have a tight butthole when they're playing against the Dodgers, and they tighten up so much that they can't reach the peak performance. They can't necessarily be ready for the opportunity. You're supposed to be loose, right? The Dodgers stay loose because even though these games against the Padres matter more than a game against even the Angels, they're not playoff games. They're not getting them really any closer to the World Series, which they have full confidence that they're going to make it to and probably win. Jeremiah Estrada is the best example of this. I think he's an LA kid, unless he might be the Tijuana kid, but I think he's an LA kid.
And he's in Tijuana.
Okay. It's Southern California, Tijuana area kid. His career ERA against the Dodgers. Do you know what it is? Would you like to know what it is?
It's something bananas because I remember him getting thrashed last year by the Dodgers multiple times.
Every year. His career ERA against the Dodgers is 11.57. That means when he pitches an inning against the Dodgers, he's guaranteed to give up at least 1 run, which is what he did yesterday when they brought him in against the Dodgers. I used to beat Mike Schilt over the fucking head with this and just be like, stop putting him in against the Dodgers. Like, I understand he's one of your best pitchers. You don't bring him in one of those random games where you're losing by 6 or winning by 6. You do not bring him in a tight game against the Dodgers because it's in his head. Do you know what whip is? And no, I don't mean that to sound terrible. Do you know what whip is in baseball? It is the amount of base runners this pitcher puts on per inning. It's walks and hits per inning. Like If you can get your whip below 1, you are a great pitcher. His whip against the Dodgers is 2.486 for his career. That means every inning he pitches against the Dodgers, he averages 2.5 guys getting on base, getting a walk or a hit against him. He is mentally fucked against the Dodgers until he shows otherwise. And you can't bring him in a tight game and expect him to do anything but give up that run and give up the lead. And that's exactly what happened. Like, no, Mason Miller is like 5th on my list of people to blame for that loss last night.
Listen, man, on this show, as a black man, we will not talk about whips.
Not even the cars?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right.
We don't talk about whips on this show under no circumstances, just so we're all clear. Second of all, I now that we're talking about Estrada, and I glazed over it because I didn't really get into detail about it. I think last year I recall saying he should never pitch against the Dodgers again because last year he was unbelievable against everybody else. To me, the Padres have the 9th inning guy. I think they have the 8th inning guy too, in Jason Adam. Now you need a 7th inning guy.
That's more home. That's more home.
More home.
I mean, you saw last. I don't know if you were watching intently last night. There was a moment in the game last night that was fucking awesome, which is Ohtani gets to third base with 1 out. Actually, wait, was this Ohtani? I think it was Ohtani on third base with 1 out, or maybe it was someone else. And it was a tie game, and Ruben Niebla comes in to talk to Adrian Morejon. Tie game, man on third, 1 out. And he went out there, and you can tell from they closed up to it was like the gif of Draymond Green hyping up Kevin Durant. He was in his face going, "You need to strike this motherfucker out. Strike him out, strike the next guy out. I don't care if you just blow past him with a million fastballs. You can do it. You've got this. Strike these guys out." And he walked off the mound, and Morejon struck out the next 2 guys and got a. Well, no, he struck out the next guy, and then the other guy got him 2 strikes and then got a weak ground ball back to the pitcher, which he threw to first base. He got out of the inning without giving up any runs, and it's like that's Niebla telling Morejon, "You are good enough." And this was like the meat of the Dodgers lineup too. That's how I know it was Ohtani on third base. This was the meat. This was Kyle Tucker, the free agent, the guy who grounded back to him. I think it was Max Muncy who he struck out. It's like the meat of their lineup, the really scariest hitters in the Dodgers lineup. And he just went out there and he was like, "You're better than them. Go strike them out." And he did. That's why I know he's at least a 7th inning guy, and he's probably a future closer.
So for me, what I was saying in the way I wanted to frame this is what the Padres want to get to because of their inefficiency at starter, even though the starting pitch has been solid, if not really good lately. What they want to get to, what they want to model, what they have after is what the Kansas City Royals did with their pitching staff the year they made their run to the World Series. When it gets to the 6th inning and they have the lead, the game is over because you're going to bring in 3 guys in succession that you just can't hit. And whatever it is, the way that they deliver the ball, you can't hit it, whether it be through style, whether it be through different types of pitches, or whether it just be through flames like Mason Miller. You're not going to hit them. And that's the attitude and that's the energy that I think that this team needs to be successful. Last night, ironically, was a great example of that, with the exception of Estrada. And again, I didn't dwell on him because I thought the game was more important about what happened with Mason Miller. But if you don't have that be an issue with Mason Miller, if Estrada takes care of his business. So you put guys in like that to kind of help them build confidence going forward. I totally get that. But at some point, there's some guys, you just got to go. Hey, bro, you know it. I know it. They know it. You just stay here. We'll see you against the Giants. We'll see you against the Mets, the Phillies, everybody else. You my guy. You my guy. But for whatever reason, they know it. I know it. You know it. We just go, you can clap. Clap from here. Because we can't send you out there to hurt the rest of the team again. Because also, by the way, when that happens, the team knows that too, by the way. The guys on the field know it. The guys in the dugout know it. Everybody knows those numbers you just read. Everybody in professional baseball saw him come in and went, uh-oh, why are they doing this?
But here's the other thing. When you build a team like this, and I'm not saying they built it on purpose, right? Like they assumed Machado, Tatis, Merrill would all be better than this by now. They didn't build it like this on purpose. But when you are a good team with a good record, and everyone's like, they are built to get to the later innings and then shut you down with their 3 or 4 incredible bullpen arms, you know what happens? You end up following that formula so often that your bullpen wears out and you start losing the second half of the season. You really start losing some steam because your guys have pitched too often, and some of them are getting hurt, and some of them just go through bad slumps because they got dead arms or whatever. Last year's Padres team, which, everyone looks at this year's Padres team and they're like, well, they seem to be better, right? The vibes are better. They seem like they have more pieces than they had a year ago. Do you know what the Padres record is right now?
I think that's 30.
29 and 19.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what it was a year ago today?
About the same.
27 and 19. They're basically in the same place.
About the same, yeah.
The difference is a year ago they were in 4th place in the division instead of fighting for first. So that's good. It's good that the Giants and the Diamondbacks and the Rockies are all falling apart. Rockies were already falling apart last year. But it's good that there's less competition in the division. But that was a team that was built the same way. Hey, if we get to the 6th inning, it's over. Like Robert Suarez is not Mason Miller, but he was doing. I think he led the
get the job done.
I think he led baseball in saves last year. So when you have that formula, that's fine. But you gotta find times to give your guys some rest. And let me tell you, when you're playing against the Dodgers, good time to get Jeremiah Estrada some rest, because as you're saying, everyone knows it. He knows it, and in a close game, just be like, hey, man, I don't want to wear you out. He just came back from a minor league stint where they were like, hey, we don't understand why he lost 5 miles an hour off his fastball. Let's put him in the minors and wait for his arm to get less tired. Give him a couple days. It's okay. No one's going to be mad about it. You got enough pitchers to survive a game or two without him. Anyway, it's not the reason they lost. The reason they lost is because Ty France didn't catch the ball and because they didn't score more runs than the Dodgers. But it's a factor, and it's a factor that's going into my evaluation of Craig Stammen, who to this point I feel like has been a really, really good first-time manager who's getting better over time. And what I like about him, what I hated about Schilt was he would never learn from his mistakes. What I like about Stammen is that he seems to. I would not be shocked if we don't see Estrada back in against the Dodgers in a close game until he has played against the Dodgers in a not close game and proven that he can do that without freaking out.
Here's the problem with that. I have held off on evaluating Stammen because I think that he's done a serviceable job. I think last night, these are the type of situations, again, these are not playoff games. These are playoff atmospheres. It's important to have playoff atmospheres. I think it's important for the Dodgers who, back-to-back World Series. They've been through everything. During the year, they need some of these tune-ups too because, everybody's human. For this to be Stammen as a first-time manager, for him to be walking through some of these things, I found him to be serviceable. I don't have any problems with him, but I want to see how he responds to what happened last night. Because under Estrada, under Stammen, it's your first time burning me. Okay? So as a manager, you got to go, hey, everybody, I don't know what happened with I know what happened, but I don't care what happened. Clean slate with everybody. I'm a different guy. Let's start fresh with everybody. But some people, you don't forget, you do a lot of forgiving as a head coach, as a professional athlete, as a general manager. You do a lot of forgiving. You don't do any forgetting. You don't forget anything. And if I'm Stammen from now on, when it comes to putting Estrada in against the Dodgers, I find somebody else for his own mental psyche, for mine, and for my players. Because now you're talking about affecting the entire ball club because you're trying to build one guy up. And there's nobody on that roster. Hey, man, don't put him in. Don't put him in. Because guys want to pull for other guys because one day you'll be in that situation and somebody's going to have to pull for you, and you don't want that negativity around you. So I get the players still supporting him. I get the management still supporting him. But as Craig Stammen, here we go. Lesson number 1. Or more like lesson number 3, I think, at this point. What do I do the next time this comes about against this team?
Yeah. And actually, that we can move on to the NBA in a second, but I think the Miller, slight freak out and the rush throw to first base is something that should very much be paired with what he did the night before, where he came in and he could not throw a strike. And he was just like, ball, 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 ball. Pitching coach had to come out, had to talk him down. He had to take some miles per hour off that fastball, get it in the zone. And then finally he worked his way through and he got the save and the Padres got the win. But he was a lot closer than any other Mason Miller save this year. And it looked like he was about to freak the hell out and lose the game, which is not exactly what he did last night. But those 2 nights in a row, like I went back this morning and I checked, I was like, didn't he pitch in the playoffs last year for the Padres? Wasn't he fine? Yes, he pitched for the play. He pitched, crap, I have it here. He was in the 2 games against the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
He pitched an inning and struck out all 3 guys. And then he pitched an inning and 2/3, struck out all 5 guys, and hit 1 other guy by pitch.
Right.
Gave up no runs. Was awesome, right? Like he was awesome. And so I don't know what it is about the Dodgers. I don't know if it's just built up in his head or whatever. But whatever Jeremiah Estrada's got, I think Mason Miller's got a little bit of as well. And it's something that Craig Stammen's going to have to figure out.
At some point, I talk about this, and this is my thing, and I'll end on this. We'll transition after this. Meeting the moment becomes very important for a lot of guys, but you have to be have the opportunity to meet the moment. I thought Mason Miller met it in game 1. He started off a little frazzled, but I always trust he'll get it together because he's got the stuff to get it together. I think he's got the mental makeup to get it together as well. Jeremiah Estrada, on the other hand, has shown you he does not have the mental makeup to get past this particular roadblock. So it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward with the pieces and how they play them tonight or today, whenever they play this game. And if you find yourself in another close situation because the way that this series is gone with a run differential of 0, I think we'll have another close one today. Now, last night, and we'll preview the Spurs Thunder series because that's why I asked John to be on. Last night, we'll talk about last night just because it happened. Me personally, from a basketball standpoint, I believe these are 2 very flawed teams. I don't think the Knicks are great. I think the only reason why we think the Knicks are good because they're in the New York market and they get a lot of conversation. No matter what happens, they get over-elevated. I think the Cavs have better players, but Kenny Atkinson last night, buddy, you just got fired. Now, they can't fire you today. They can't fire you today. But trust and believe, your ass dodged being fired when y'all beat the Pistons. You're not going to dodge this one.
Did he get Coach of the Year last year? I feel like he won Coach of the Year last year.
As we know in the NBA, Coach of the Year don't matter.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes that's a death knell.
Coach of the Year in the NBA is a paperweight, okay? It's something you have in your office that if you lost it, you probably wouldn't care. All right? If you lost it in a move, you'd be like, oh, where's my Coach of the Year award? Left it under the house. Should we call him?
No, Dwayne Casey's got his on the fireplace mantle. You know he does.
Like, the NBA Coach of the Year is a hilarious award that they give to the person who, yeah, buddy, the second you suck, you gone.
There's a whole bunch. Like, if you look through the greatest NBA coaches of all time, like so many of them never won Coach of the Year. I don't think Spoelstra's ever won it. I'm not sure Steve Kerr won it more than once. I think Pop maybe never won it or won it one time. Like, there's so many really, really good. Carlisle, I think, maybe got it one year with the Pacers. The first time he was with the Pacers.
Yeah.
Like, these are the top 4 or 5 coaches in the league, and they never win it.
It's a weird award. It's like we give it to the up and coming coach. We never give it to the dominant coach who's been crushing it year after year after year. It's kind of like the MVP. We don't want to keep giving it to the same person, so we just start giving it to random people. But Kenny Atkinson got himself fired last night. I'll tell you why. You're in Madison Square Garden. You just played a 7-game series. You are running away with this game off the momentum of the last game. Your rhythm is there. I don't believe in the layoff for the Knicks. I think the Knicks came out, and because the way that they made the run in the fourth quarter, I think sometimes you just got to figure out the fighting distance of the team you're against. And they figured out the fighting distance against the Cavs. Kenny Atkinson didn't realize he was in a fight. This idea that you publicly say, sometimes as a coach, by the way, you got to lie. You got to lie as a coach. You don't go to the post-game press conference and say, well, I had 2 timeouts. I like to keep my timeouts. Kenny, you got to make up something else, baby. You got to lie, buddy. You got to lie, okay? The idea that you then left James Harden exposed. James Harden's got a great history, well-known history of not being great defensively. This is not a mystery. Even if he tries, it's not good because he's never tried. So when he does try, people give him credit. Oh, he got a little bit of contact right there, but the guy still went by him. To Mike Brown's credit, who I also think is not a great coach, Mike Brown took ABC coaching to his best last night. Said, oh, y'all gonna keep letting Jaden Brunson go 1-on-1 against James Harden? Good day, sir. See you next time down. And they just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it until at some point, I think Kenny Atkinson remembered, oh, wait, I'm coaching an NBA basketball game. I should probably change what I'm doing. And then tried to double him. But at that point, it was too late. They were already rolling. They had momentum. They had that crowd going crazy. And their confidence had got built against a team that was crushing them. The Cavs, the Cavs have more talent. That's not debatable. The Cavs have 4 $100 million players on their roster. And so the fact that, yes, if you want to tell me Donovan Mitchell got hurt, that's cool. I think he did the magical vanishing Donovan Mitchell act, which happens. James Harden goes cold. Stop me if you heard that before. You still got the number 4 pick in Evan Mobley to get the ball to. It's not like the Knicks got some type of defensive stopper. If Kenny called a timeout, you might be able to drop a play for somebody else, Kenny. But last night, Kenny Atkinson lost his job. Tell me what you thought of that game, John.
I thought Kenny Atkinson lost his job. And I saw a bunch of people that were like, oh, he deserves to be fired because he left James Harden in there when James Harden was getting cooked by Jalen Brunson. That is true. That being said, I can read this box score. It's funny. I heard someone this morning say if you didn't watch the game and you woke up and you looked at the box score and it was like, oh, Knicks beat Cavs in overtime. You're like, hey, look at the Cavs. They got a little fight in them. They sent it to overtime. Like, good for them. And that's fair. But I look at this box score and there are 2 things just screaming at me. And they're about free throws and they're about 3-pointers. Because you look at the free throw attempts for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and if I was a Cavaliers fan, I'd be enraged. Evan Mobley shot the ball 16 times. He had 2 free throws. Donovan Mitchell shot the ball 23 times. He had 1 free throw attempt. 1! The whole game. James Harden played for 42 minutes. The free throw merchant is what we used to call this man. He played for 42 minutes. He shot 6 free throws. Max Strus, who was playing great and basically got benched for some reason in the 4th quarter and overtime. And for Sam Merrill, even Max Strus had 2 free throw attempts. All of this should tell you something. They were afraid to go into the middle. They were afraid to drive to the hoop. The Knicks, whether it was Towns, whether it was Anunoby, whether it was Mitchell Robinson, they were doing enough to freak the Cavs out where they were staying on the outside and they were shooting jump shots. And in a playoff game, when you've got a team settling for jump shots, you have won. And the funny thing is, for the entirety of this game, the Cavaliers settled for jump shots. The Knicks, I mean, this was a disgustingly bad game for 3 quarters. It was actually a really ugly game for the whole time.
Very bad.
But the Knicks, everyone's like, what happened? They were down by 22 with 7 minutes left. And all of a sudden they go on this crazy run and they win the game. It was really simple. They stopped shooting jump shots and they started going to the hoop. And they were like, the easiest way to get from outside the 3-point line to the hoop is find wherever James Harden is and cross him up and then go. And once they put Shamet on the floor and took Josh Hart out was really when the magic started happening because Josh Hart went 1 for 6 from 3 and they were like, okay, this is not basketball is actually pretty simple at this point, which is get your best player with 4 shooters on the court so
Yeah.
that they can't help off of anybody. And the problem is Josh Hart can do a lot of really great things, but there are some nights in which he just cannot make threes. And when he can't make threes, they don't need to defend him anymore.
At all.
Which completely screws up the Knicks offense. And that's what happened for 3 straight quarters. And like the same was true. OG Anunoby wasn't really hitting threes the way he was in the previous series. Did Towns make any threes? Towns went 1 for 5. Like
he was abysmal last night. He
went back to being bad cat. And that's fine. Bad cat can still be an effective NBA player. He was great on the boards. He was okay on defense when he wasn't fouling people for no reason whatsoever, which he always does when he's the bad version of himself. But it's so simple. What happened was they just went, let's take the non-shooter off the floor and replace him with a shooter. And that solved everything for their offense. And the Cavs just never really made an adjustment. Like I feel like they took Max Strus on and put on Sam Merrill, and they were like, "This will fix it." And they just had no answers because let's see who did they have on the floor? They tried to go with all the shooters, but the problem is like Evan Mobley. No one is afraid of you as a shooter. Jared Allen had to stay there because he was the rim defender and Jalen Brunson was going to the rim. He's not a shooter. They could help off him constantly. And so their offense got stuck in the mud for the same reasons the Knicks did, and they had no answer. And like the answer to all this is Evan Mobley needs to be a better 3-point shooter than he is. And he just isn't. Or he needs to be a better rim protector than he is. And he just isn't.
Here's the problem. And here's the problem. We keep thinking Evan Mobley's good.
That's what I'm saying.
The problem.
That's what I'm saying. You're like, oh, he's the number 4 pick. And I'm like, the Cavs, who was the guy the Cavs drafted at UNLV with the number 1 pick who was out of the NBA in like 2 years? Anthony Bennett. Like you could sit here all day, but his number 1 overall pick. It doesn't mean anything. He stinks. And like Evan Mobley doesn't stink, but Evan Mobley is like, I could probably name 100 NBA players that I would compare to Evan Mobley. I would take Naz Reid over Evan Mobley.
You have to reimagine Evan Mobley at this point. I wouldn't have given him $100 million, but he was Defensive Player of the Year on defense. His statistics, and this is what makes my mind explode about statistics sometimes. His defensive statistic numbers are off the charts. There's only one other person better than him statistically on defense, and that's Wemby. And that's weird to say when you watch him play, and you just don't get that. Where's
the impact? Like I never see it.
It doesn't. It literally feels at times like it doesn't exist. Like it's impactless. You're getting nothing from what you're seeing from him. And so for me,
I guess it's the John Gennaro show now. Because I think Browner's gone. I also think there's people that are commenting that I can't even see. Oh, here we go. I can see the comments. I'm sure Browner will be back in a minute. Sorry to the people that are watching. I hope you're enjoying the conversation. The sad thing is I thought he was about to make a really good point, and then he disappeared or he froze. We'll just wait for a minute. Actually, no. I'm going to use this minute to talk about a pet project of mine, which is Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder does not make sense. Dennis Schroeder is the most confusing player in the NBA. It's a theory that I've had for a little while, and it's a thing that I can only talk about with NBA nerds because most people don't even know that Dennis Schroeder exists. Dennis Schroeder is, thank you to the person saying it's your show now. Dennis Schroeder, when he plays internationally for Germany, is like the best basketball player we've ever seen. I think he's won back-to-back like MVP awards in the Euro Cup. He's back.
I don't know. Thanks for doing that.
Dude, thanks for what I was making a point about how you left and I was like, I'll just wait for a minute. And I was like, I'm going to rant about how Dennis Schroeder is confusing as hell. We'll get back to that. What was the point you were making about Evan Mobley? What?
Oh my God. I hate computers. I really do. Anyway, the point I was making about Evan Mobley. Sorry, everybody. Computers. So the point I was making about Evan Mobley is this. We have to reimagine how we see Evan Mobley as an NBA basketball player. When you take somebody at the number 4 position, they get these defensive metrics and they start to talk about them, and then you get a new contract. And the more money you make in the NBA, the more responsibility you have to have. And I have no idea what to do about the Cavs when it comes to Evan Mobley, because this roster is built to win an NBA championship. Period. End of story. And it would be the most flawed championship we've seen since the Toronto Raptors won with Kawhi Leonard. This is a flawed group. It doesn't match. You've got too many guys to do too many things. This is the most unbalanced breakfast I've ever seen. Okay? This is a lot of eggs, no bacon, and what they call it when you rip off the ends of a toast. Burnt ends of toast. There ain't no orange juice to this.
Rust.
Ain't no coffee. Yeah, ain't no coffee to this breakfast. This is one of the most unbalanced, put together teams. Because you would think on this, okay, you got these two bigs. And this is why I thought the Cavs would have a much better opportunity to beat the Knicks and the Pistons. You have these two bigs, Evan Mobley, who's got these crazy defensive numbers. You put him against Cat, great. Now you got somebody to take away what they've now introduced as the passing Cat. So now that you got somebody to defend passing Cat, behind passing Cat, you have Jared Allen to protect the basket whenever, let's say, he gets beat or, and Obi goes baseline. There's ways that you can now combat this defensively because you have Evan Mobley guarding Cat, taking away the passing lanes. And that's what worked, by the way, for 3 quarters. I was watching this game going, okay, they stopped Cat from passing. Now, at some point, eventually, but I thought the lead had gotten too big, and this was going to be one of those things where Jalen Brunson goes on this crazy run at the end of the game, and now they go, okay, well, we found something to take in the game 2 that we can walk out of here with a split, and we can win a home playoff game. But no, they found it out quick enough that they were able to steal that game, or the Cavs were able to choke that game away, because it literally happened right in front of you. The fact that you couldn't find a way to move Jared Allen and Evan Mobley around the court so that James Harden is never guarding Jalen Brunson. Like, the Spurs are magnificent at this. And we'll transition into that. The Spurs make sure you're guarding who we want you to guard. We want Stephen Castle or Carter Bryant or Devin Vassell on Shea at all times. And because of that, you can see the pieces moving when they start trying to screen. Wemby's waiting in the back, and everybody else is just interchangeable to make sure one of these 3 guys is on Shea. For whatever reason, the Cavs have not employed that defense against the Knicks last night. And I don't think they're going to, because Kenny Atkinson does now know he's fired. He knows he's fired. So I honestly believe going forward with Evan Mobley will now become a trade piece because he's too hit and miss. He's not physical at all. He doesn't play with the level of aggression that you would want him to. The Knicks don't have a front line that's unstoppable. They don't. He should be able to take Cat to the basket. He just did it against Detroit. A much tougher front line, a much more physical front line, a much more physical team. And he was unable to impose his will against Mitchell Robinson, who fouls or gets hurt every other minute in an NBA game. They should study this in a science lab. He gets hurt or fouls every other minute. It's immaculate. And so now I don't know how the Cavs recover from this, because I thought the Cavs could take this in 7 or in 6. I actually did think the Cavs would beat them. After last night, absolutely. I think the Knicks are frauds. And I thought defensively, I thought defensively that they matched up very, very well with the Knicks, and they still might, by the way. I thought they matched up very well with the Knicks, and I thought Donovan Mitchell could have his way with whomever he wants on the because OG Anunoby is still hurt, by the way. He's not 100%. And until he's 100%, Donovan Mitchell can have whatever he wants unless he taps out. And last night, it looked like he just tapped out and stopped playing. Oh, by the way, I heard what you said about Dennis Schroeder at the end. Buddy, 1 for 9. Why he shooting so much?
I don't understand. But this actually goes into a different conversation that I want to talk about. Let's just remember Dennis Schroeder is a part of this. We talked about this years ago. And people talk about this all the time. There are 82 game players and there are 16 game players. And rarely are they the same person. Usually you are one or the other because the style of basketball is so different. Because when you get to the playoffs, the defenses get turned up to 11 and you eventually, like, I know everyone's like, oh, it's too much ISO ball, whatever. You get left with no options. You
Correct.
have no options left. Eventually, your best player has to win a one-on-one matchup.
Have to.
Now, taking Josh Hart off the court and putting white-hot Landry Shamet on the court, who, like, I don't know, funny stat, Landry Shamet was plus 25 in 17 minutes last night. Like, that is insane. But he's also been doing that, like, every time they plug him in there, because what happens is that puts Brunson in a position where all he has to do is win a one-on-one. And Cat, when Cat gets the ball, all he has to do is win a one-on-one. And when OG gets the ball, all he has to do is win a one-on-one. Those are three guys that I genuinely trust to win a one-on-one possession.
Yeah.
How many guys do the Cavs have that you trust to win a one-on-one possession? Donovan Mitchell, maybe James Harden, although he looks like he's running out of gas. Okay, but this is my point.
It's a time of the year to run out of gas for him.
I know, but neither one of us trusts Evan Mobley to win a one-on-one possession on offense, right? He is a defensive player who, like, yeah, over an 82 game season, you're going to be like, give him awards. Look, he averaged 20 and 10. All this is great. He cannot win a one-on-one matchup against a decent defender. And last night, the Cavs had James Harden shoot the ball 16 times, including half of them for three. And they had Evan Mobley shoot the ball 16 times, half of them for three. That's a problem, man. Unless you're hitting those threes, that's a problem. And they were not.
And this is why Kenny Atkinson is fired. Because as all this is happening, hey, buddy, call a timeout. Call a timeout. And when it gets down to 15, Eric Spoelstra, this is why I like Eric Spoelstra. If you have a 22-point lead, if Eric Spoelstra had that lead, when it gets down to 15, he calling a timeout. When it gets down to 10,
he's calling 100 timeouts. He's calling 100 timeouts, and he's getting louder and redder each one of them.
By the way, I was just about to say, when it gets down to 5, he don't give a damn how much time is left. He finna call his last timeout, and he finna curse out everybody in a Heat uniform or whoever's in the first 5 rows. You finna get cussed out. And then when we lose this game, it ain't going to be because of him. It ain't going to be because of his preparation. It ain't going to be because of his tactical disadvantage. By the way, this wouldn't happen to J.J. Redick. It just wouldn't. It literally would. I can't think of – this might happen to Doc Rivers. But the way Kenny Atkinson exposed his deer in headlights last night, him and Jared Allen had something very much in common. They both looked very exposed last night. And like I said, I don't know where the Cavs go, but we're running out of time, and I want to get to the Spurs because that's what's most important.
Yeah. And to the point that I was making about, like, basketball is fairly simple. Like, the only thing the Thunder can do at this point is the thing that they've not wanted to do all season long, which is with Dort on the court, with Hartenstein on the court, either one of those guys, there is someone who Wemby does not need to defend, and therefore he can roam around and make life hell for SGA and make life hell for Jalen Williams and make life hell for Chet Holmgren. What they need to do is they need to go with a lineup the Thunder do, where Chet is the only big and he's playing with 4 shooters. That way, because Chet's a good enough 3-point shooter that way, if anyone helps off to slow down SGA, he's got an easy pass to an open 3. They have refused to do this for one very specific reason, because if you are the only big on the court, It is your job to play against Victor Wembanyama on the other side of the court. And Chet, I don't know if Chet doesn't want that smoke. I feel like he does. I think Mark Dagnall is like, let's keep him out of that because his will get demolished. But it's the only move they have left. SGA was so bad because there was always someone on his team that Wemby was ignoring. Always. And like, look, in this game, a lot of the time it was Alex Caruso and he made like 8 threes.
Game of his life.
He might do it again. He probably won't, but he might. But the Spurs are going to do the exact same thing until you find some way to beat them. And if Wemby is out there and it's 5 shooters on the court, he can't help off like that without giving an open 3 to an NBA player.
I'm going to say this, and I fully believe this. I don't think this gets to 6 games. The 2-time MVP, the team that JJ Redick referred to as one of the greatest teams of all time statistically, Shea's going to have to make so many threes in this series for them to now take 2 steps up to start defending him. It's too far out of his game. This is the same defensive plan the Spurs had during the season against Oklahoma City. That's why they beat them 4 out of 5. The game 1 was no different than anything they had done. Stephon Castle looks at SGA and goes, "I'm gonna make a name for myself." What does Gambit say in Wolverine, the Deadpool
Summon.
Wolverine movie? "I'm about to make a name for myself." That what he look up and he see SGA. That's what he said. "I'm gonna make a name for myself." He go full Gambit. "I'm gonna make a name for myself," and that's what he doing. Because this is not new to them. It's new to the basketball viewing community because they don't really have time to drill down on this. The average basketball player or viewer, the fringe viewer, they didn't see this coming. They heard about Wemby. They didn't hear about they didn't hear about Dylan Harper. And they did all this with wingtip wearing De'Aaron Fox jumping up and down on the sideline.
Yep.
So when you boil down what you saw in game 1, and if that can translate into game 2, if the Thunder win this series, because I believe that they still can, this will have very little to do with SGA, and that sounds bananas. This will have everything to do with the manhood of Chet Holmgren. Period. Full stop. I'm old school basketball. At some point, you got to go to Dagnall as Chet Holmgren and say, "Hey, man, listen, this is my guy. I don't bring no help. If he gets 50, he get 50. But we can't have a rookie and Dylan Harper get 25. We can't have the second or third year guy in Castle get 20. We can't have that. We can't have Devin Vassell busting threes from the corner while we can't have that. So this is on me. I'm gonna guard him. And when I get 6 fouls, Hartenstein, it's your turn. You guard him. We cannot put Alex Caruso on him because that looks cute. And the little, I'm working hard. I got this. I'm Alex Caruso. Look at me making these vital threes.
It worked for a little bit. It worked for a little bit.
And until it didn't. Because Wemby went, wait a minute. This game is way too close. I'm going to go stand by the basket.
Yeah, he went, throw it up there. Throw it up here.
People can say he's 7'4". No, he's not. Wemby's 9 feet tall because he plays with his arms up. Okay. And this is the miscalculation that everyone makes about Victor Wembanyama. You keep talking about he's 7 feet tall. In the NBA, everybody plays with their hands up.
Did you see where he caught the alley-oop where they measured it? And
top of the box.
It was an inch above that. It was 12 and a half feet up. Like most NBA players can't reach 12 and a half feet
at all.
Their arms have to be all the way extended and they got to be at the peak of their jump. And he barely got off the floor.
And you're asking a guy a foot shorter than him to now battle plus the 4 feet of arm length that they're throwing this ball up to. That's why I thought that never works. That was never going to work for them to put this kind of pressure on Alex Caruso and Jalen Williams and you name the person. He's too tall for when it matters. He just goes, all right, I'm not going to wrestle with you at the free throw line. I'm going to go in the box. I'm going to spin off you. I'm a shield. I'm a front. You're going to front me to try to get my legs, but I'm so much taller than you. Once they throw the ball up, I'm going to jump and catch it. You're either going to foul me or look really silly when I dunk the ball or get the offensive rebound. So I don't think they have another option to go to other than to say, hey, Chet, it's on you, baby. It's on you.
They have one more option. One more.
Please, I would love to hear it.
Okay. So there's been this talk for like months about how the Oklahoma City Thunder are becoming the villains of the league, right? Everyone's rooting against them. They're the villains of the league. Everyone, Shea is foul baiting and Dort is dirty, and
He is.
No, exactly. But they're like, oh, they relish in it. They love being the villains of the league. This is the opportunity. And I'm not saying it's a good one. I hate this. This will be the sign that this series is going to get ugly, but more dramatic. When you see Kenrich Williams checking into this game, which might be game 3, but might be game 2, you need to understand he's getting checked in with orders. And those orders are, when Wemby wakes up tomorrow morning, make his body hurt. Like, he needs to wake up and be like, why is that hurt? Oh yeah, Kenrich Williams elbowed me in the liver. Like, Kenrich Williams is going to come in with his 6 fouls, and they're going to be 6 hard fouls, and he might get thrown out after 2. But at some point, they are going to try and, like, not quite injure Wemby, but they're going to try and hurt Wemby. And that is when they've given up trying to win on a strategy level, and they're just like, we need to eliminate him from the picture because we can't win with him here. And I'm going to be mad when it happens, but I feel like it's going to happen.
Here's the pushback on that. The Minnesota Timberwolves just spent 6 games doing that, to the point where he had the elbow.
And Nasri got an elbow to the throat. Yes.
So I don't think that's going to, because Minnesota's tougher than OKC. They're physically thicker than OKC. And by the way, he likes Rudy Gobert.
But wait.
Rudy Gobert's like a big brother to him. He hates the air Chet Holmgren breathes.
No, but
Go ahead.
If Kenrich Williams comes in and, I don't know, somehow uppercuts Wemby coming up with the ball or something, Wemby gets pissed off, throws a punch, throws an elbow, gets thrown out of the game, probably gets suspended for a game because now it's a record, right? All of a sudden it's like, oh, he's doing this all the time. He's throwing elbows. If you can get him out for 1.5 games of this series, you're in it. And if all you have to do is risk Kenrich Williams, who isn't playing anyway, why wouldn't you do it? Like, it's dirty basketball. But at some point, you run out of clean options.
This is why I think the NBA is in trouble with what the San Antonio Spurs have coming. Their upper management knows exactly what you're saying because they're saying it. Greg Popovich, R.C. Buford, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. These guys are walking around the facility. It's good times again in San Antonio. What they're doing is a level top-down partnership. It's a family what they're doing. That's why Bruce Bowen has told someone, hey, man, listen, they put that kid in, we need to be able to put somebody else in and knock that guy out. Just fight him. When you come in, hey, Kelly Olynyk, you ain't got to win this fight. If you see Kendrick Williams check in, don't look at coach. You check yourself in the game, you fight him, and both of y'all get thrown out.
No, that's totally fair. I think they got to talk to some of the dudes in the starting lineup and be like, you need to not fight him. Like,
yeah, correct.
Julian Champagnie, I know you want to fight him. I know you want to rip his face off. You need to chill out.
Bismack Biyombo, if you see this kid get in, you get up, get in. The second they blow the whistle, just punch him right in the face. Don't waste no time.
Swear to God, I'm so afraid of Bismack Biyombo. I think he would do it. But this is my question to you. So I read a story that's very heartwarming. All the pop stories now are very heartwarming. That when they got back from Minnesota after Wemby threw the elbow into Naz Reid's throat, Pop was waiting for them. Like plane landed, stairs came down, and Pop's waiting at the bottom of the stairs. Like just got out of his car, and he gives Wemby a big hug, throws his arm around him, and like immediately starts teaching him. Right? This is Pop the teacher. We've seen Pop the teacher. We haven't seen him in a while. It's kind of behind the scenes now, but it's Pop the teacher. Do you think the idea of throwing the elbow was Pop's idea, or do you think it was Wemby's idea?
Oh, no. See, again, this is a top-down situation.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Pop was like, the next time, just whip an elbow into his throat, and he'll never do it again.
They told him, if the referees won't protect, because he was getting mauled. I mean, he was getting pushed in the back at center court. Like, it was getting really, really bad what the refs were allowing to happen to him. And at some point, he's got to go, hey, man, listen, I ain't no bitch. No, it's me. I wish this wasn't you, but Jaden Daniels got my arm. And so this is for you and for everybody else. Yang! And guess what? It stopped. It stopped. Because the NBA probably called Minnesota's like, yo, nope.
Yeah, we don't want that man fighting your whole team.
Right.
This is the Shaq thing, right? Where Shaq was like, look, he's like, oh,
at some point.
I came in as a rookie. They were beating me up. The refs wouldn't call it because I was so big. They were beating me up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and finally I threw a punch, and then I threw another punch,
and then it
never happened again.
And then it stopped. And so I think Wemby, and that, by the way, that was the elbow hurt around the world, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody talked about that. And so I think that in this particular series, I don't think Oklahoma City has it in them character-wise to play into the villain of the NBA. They're not liked because the way they play basketball is boring. Their best player doesn't jump high. He doesn't run fast. He doesn't shoot from deep. He's not some physical dominant force. He takes advantage of the rules with his skill set to make the best out of what he has, and the rest of his team plays off of that. And I think that's why people don't like him, because it's a boring watch. This was the same. The Spurs fell into this with Tim Duncan. One of the greatest runs the NBA has ever had. Again, that Spurs run was in the midst of Shaq and Kobe, and they still did it because that's how great it was. But this idea that that somehow they're going to win you over with their style, the Spurs didn't care. Tim Duncan was the best power forward, probably the best power forward in the history of basketball. Manu Ginobili is the greatest six man ever. You throw in Tony Parker was a Hall of Fame point guard, and then the pieces you sprinkle in, whether it be Steven Jackson or Boris Diaw, you get guys here and there that will make plays for you. You become a winning organization. You don't give a damn what anybody else thinks. We won. This is the NBA's problem to fix. It's not our problem. Our job's to win. And that's what they did. And that's what the Thunder are doing. It's not their job to entertain you. It's their job to win. That's unfortunate for them. Victor Wembanyama is the funnest thing I've seen since a hot Steph Curry, because he can do something on both ends of the court. And I think this is what's missing about his greatness that people don't appreciate yet. He is dominating both ends of the basketball court because they're not even trying to shoot on him. They played 5 quarters, essentially. They attempted 10 shots against him. Like, that says all you need to hear. And this is why I thought the MVP thing was ridiculous. He's dominating both sides of the court and dominating one side so bad, it's Deion Sanders on a muddy field having a clean jersey. We're not even going to try.
All right, I have some notes and some questions. I know we're running low on time, but I got some notes and some questions. One, I was thinking about this morning. Wemby is kind of like nothing we've ever seen. At the same time, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with Wilt Chamberlain because I was like, I had old VHS tapes of Wilt Chamberlain games, and it was crazy because he was a foot and a half taller than everyone, faster than everyone, more athletic than everyone, better hands than everyone, a pretty decent jumper, and he was a terror on defense. He pretty much was Victor Wembanyama just years ago when the competition was less. For Victor Wembanyama to be Wilt Chamberlain now is shocking, but it's kind of like Wilt Chamberlain. The other thing, I was laughing about this earlier. I wanted to bring this up to you. Every time I watch Mitchell Robinson play, I think to myself, I understand how Bill Russell won all those titles, because Mitchell Robinson to me is Bill Russell. And like outside of Wembanyama, this is why I'm rooting for Knicks Spurs. Outside of Wembanyama, like Mitchell Robinson is the dude when he's healthy, which as you stated earlier is for like 7-minute spurts.
Give it a minute, right?
When he's healthy, like he might be the second or third most impactful player in the NBA. Like if the Knicks miss when he's on the court, it is a guaranteed offensive rebound. It is crazy. Now he ruins it on the other side of the court, right? Because he's a zero on offense and his free throw shooting. But I watch him and I'm like, that's what Bill Russell was. I've watched enough old Wilt Chamberlain tapes to see that's what Bill Russell was. And like, if we are heading towards a Mitchell Robinson against Victor Wembanyama finals, and like, there's going to be something deep in my childhood heart that's like, oh, it's Chamberlain and Russell again, because like, it's funny to watch that style of play where it's like he's going to block everything, he's going to rebound everything, he's going to be a terror defensively and do nothing else. But you just watch him and you're like, they can't lose with this guy on the court. He's just can't stay healthy.
I can't disagree with your Mitchell Robinson take. Now I think the Bill Russell adaptation of it. Let's not get crazy.
Bill was a better shooter. He had a little jump shot that was okay.
But when he's on the court for the Knicks, if they don't hack a Robinson, they're hack a Robinson in for a reason.
Because they need to get him off the court. They need to get it. When he's on the court, just watch. Every time the ball goes up, it's either a make or an offensive rebound. It's a make or an offensive rebound. It's crazy to me. Last thing, because this is driving me crazy. I see the title of this about Mason Miller, Cavs meltdown, and it says, when will they stop showing them courtside? Did you already talk about this? Because I'm going to
get to it right now.
Is this the Knicks thing? Celebrity Row? Is this?
Yes. Okay.
I have takes because my wife abandoned the Mavericks as a fan when they traded Luka Doncic and became a Knicks fan. So I watch a lot of Knicks games. This courtside thing is so goddamn annoying. It's everywhere all the time.
So let's have this conversation because I was saving this for the end. I'm so glad that you picked up on this. When will they stop showing them? I'm about to show you some people. You tell me the last time they done something. Ben Stiller, Lenny Kravitz. When was the last time Ben Stiller did anything other than this in a Visa commercial? Now this guy, he working. I give him. He ain't one guy.
Ben Stiller just did that show for Apple that everyone loves. Jimmy Fallon's on Late Night. Lenny Kravitz. Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's. He was just on Shrinking. Like all these people are doing stuff. Lenny Kravitz. I think they used one of his songs for like an NBA playoff intro thing or something. He's still making music. I don't know. Lenny's old.
This conversation came about because it dawned on me when they kept showing all these guys who don't do anything that who's got the better celebrity row? And I went, you know what? Next Laker game, let me pay attention. It's the Lakers by a mile, buddy. It's the Lakers by a mile. They have
why? Because they got Kardashians.
No. Brace yourself, buddy. They got active celebrities. After Timothy Chalamet, buddy, they ain't nobody really working. Ain't nobody.
Tracy Morgan's got that show.
Tracy Morgan has been playing Tracy Morgan for 35 years. The role changes. The acting skill does not. Okay. No
Severance. Ben Stiller's doing Severance. He's like the director, writer of Severance or whatever.
That ain't front facing. This ain't something about Mary.
It's fair.
Okay. Lenny Kravitz ain't had a hit since when? Oh yeah, that was a long time ago. Okay, some people listen to this was in high school, man. Yeah,
no, I know it's been a minute.
But he ain't working. Man. So between him, so they had Ben Stiller, who again called me after Tropic Thunder. You got Ben Stiller, you got Lenny Kravitz, you got Timothy Chalamet, who working, love him, big fan. He working, not on Marty Supreme, but his other stuff, love it. And then they show Jimmy Fallon. They show Jimmy Fallon, who is hit or miss. They say he's a really bad person to work with.
Wait a minute. I just got this from your comments and I looked it up to verify. There is a new Meet the Fockers or Meet the Parents movie coming out this year with Ben Stiller called Focker-in-Law.
See, cool.
That's front facing. He's doing a thing.
Let me see whenever I see that trailer, then we can have this conversation about why the hell I keep seeing Ben Stiller every game. And last but not least, Michael J. Fox. Now, I'm not going to say anything negative about Michael J. Fox because he's battling Parkinson's.
Yeah, you better not.
He's become the face of battling that disease because he's lived with it for so long, and he's showing people who get that they can fight their way through it.
It's also because the Michael J. Fox Foundation raises more money for Parkinson's disease research than any other foundation on earth.
So he might be the only other person working harder than Timothy Chalamet right now, bruh. So I'm not gonna give Michael Jackson. I'm not gonna give Michael J. Fox no smoke because the work that he's doing just by being alive.
Give me the Lakers people.
Is a testament to what he's doing, after his career. Now, let's talk Lakers. You're going to see Denzel pop up. Yeah. Huh? What? Okay.
Wait. No, hold on. When is Denzel's most recent hit movie?
Well, first of all, that's a great question.
Wow.
The highs and lows. The highs and lows. It was on Apple. So that was his last movie. That was a year ago. See, so be careful because I can recall
highest to lowest. I've never seen. Yeah. He was in Gladiator 2.
Gladiator 2,
that's
which
fine.
was awful.
That's fine.
But he was in it.
I never saw it. He was in Macbeth. He was
big
the last
budget.
hit. Highest to lowest is not a hit. Gladiator 2 might be a hit.
I know. Gladiator 2 was terrible. I hate
Fences. It. Fences was a decade ago.
But Fences was unbelievable.
But
again,
Fences.
The Lakers have so many people showing up, whether it be from musicians, Rihanna, front row, whenever she's in the country. She loved LeBron. We all know how, whatever that
I forgot
means.
about that. I forgot.
Okay? Whatever she got going on with him, that ain't my business. So Rihanna, you could get a Rihanna in there. Whoever's doing something in Los Angeles, they find their way to that game. You can count Kim Kardashian if you want. She working in some way, shape, or form, on her back or on her feet. She putting in work.
Look at the comments. Please look at the comments.
Where we at?
The most recent one. Crystal Davis.
Okay, hold on. Let me put it up. Come on, man. Come on. Denzel, Kim K, Mayweather, Scott Kaplan, Flea. Bro, listen. Come on, y'all. The Cappy Lappy got put on pause because y'all already know how that y'all know how business go up there. So we're not gonna really do too much dancing to that beat. But the LA's got a lot of people. LA's got a lot of people who come through, and they got a lot of people who you have no idea. Listen, man, Fat Joe sitting in the front row with Joe Budden behind him game after game. I'm good, bro. Lean back was a long time ago. So this leads to the propping up of all New York sports. That's just how it is. So I love Celebrity Row. I love it because it gives me an opportunity to be like, oh, I haven't seen that guy in a while. Only in the Knicks games. When you go to the Laker games, like, oh yeah, he got a movie coming out. Oh, he got a movie coming out. Oh, he got a movie coming out. This ain't like in the NFL where Fox is partnering with somebody who's got The Masked Singer coming out, and they got somebody sitting in the 15th row.
Okay, but can I counter?
Please.
The one thing the Knicks have, it is an extension of Celebrity Row that almost no other team ever has, is they always have a collection of former Knicks that are having a time. Patrick Ewing looked so goddamn stylish last night. And Starks is always there. I saw Larry Johnson over by the bench, hyping someone up when they got off the court.
Stephon Marbury.
Well, Marbury, he was suited and booted last night, man. But the idea that there's always 10 to 15 former Knicks and they are drunk and they are having a party and they're having a good time and they're interacting with the players, all that stuff. That is the thing that the Lakers don't have.
Since Charles Oakley beat the shit out of 3 security guards trying to kick James Dolan's ass, James Dolan has been very nice to all the ex-players. So what James Dolan has found in his heart is to give back to these guys who want to come and be a part of the Knick fraternity. This is the smartest thing James Dolan has done.
It's brilliant.
After Charles Oakley kicked their ass from the 10th row down to the first row in that stair lane with the poor security guards who were just doing their job, he did a mea culpa. He did one of the greatest turnarounds I've ever seen. That looks like Spurs games.
But you know why it's brilliant. Yes, the Spurs do this well too. Although the Spurs people are always just sitting in the seats, the
they
Knicks
sit in the 50th row. They don't care.
Right. But what's brilliant is I'm sure you've seen the commercial where it's the Knicks players with John Starks and they're going on a camping thing. And it's I think if we hadn't seen Starks in 30 years, we'd be like, whoa, John Starks. But instead you see him in every game and they know him because he's at every game. And it's in your head, you're like, yeah, they could hang out. This is realistic. This is fun. It's great. It's so
Clyde Frazier is at Courtside. Every game he not calling, he Courtside with whatever them crazy outfits he got, him and his wife. Courtside.
That's
He
the
ain't
king of
paying
New
for them.
York, though. He's the king of New York. He's
He
got to
ain't
sit in
paying for
his
them
throne.
tickets.
Nah.
James Dolan taking care of them, and I've never been a fan of James Dolan. Never. I give credit where credit is due. James Dolan has embraced the Knick alumni in a way that is not the Lakers do it, but not really the same. I think because Magic is so tied into the organization, that's more of Magic's responsibility. But the Spurs are first class in it. The Knicks have become first class in it. The Heat are first class in it. And believe it or not, the Chicago Bulls are terrible at everything. They employ every role player they've ever had in some capacity at the United Center. I'm talking about from Bill Whittington to Tony Kukoc to Luke Longley. Bro, people don't even know what Luke Longley looked like no more. He worked at the United Center. He could be passing out popcorn. You wouldn't know. The Bulls employ almost any and everybody from that NBA championship. Stacey King's calling games. Will Purdue's calling games. Like Scottie Pippen is an quote unquote ambassador. It's like because they know they still
Luke
owe him
Longley
money
looks
from
like a
1991.
hipster.
Right.
Luke Longley looks like a hipster. It's hilarious.
Luke Longley, Tony Kukoc, BJ Armstrong's now an agent. John Paxson was a general manager. Like the Chicago Bulls are A+ in respecting the alumni outside of Michael Jordan. But if Michael Jordan walk in that building, rose petals start falling from the sky because that's just the way it is. But there are certain teams. I think the Warriors will be like this now that they have guys that they have now who can come back. And I think because Klay Thompson will always be a part of the organization. Same thing, obviously, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, Andrew Bogut. I think these guys Steve Kerr. I think these guys will always hover around. I think that's one to come. But right now, it's the Knicks, it's the Lakers, it's the Bulls, and not basketball. I'm just talking about how they treat the alumni. The Bulls. I love it. I love it because it reminds me of the NBA I grew up watching. I love seeing Stephon Marbury. I love seeing John Starks. I love seeing Charles Oakley whenever I see him out. I love seeing Patrick Ewing get old right in front of my eyes when he's not screaming at kids at Georgetown. I love it. I love seeing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar hate being in the building, but in the building. Like I love seeing James Worthy shit on every Laker player who not named Luka Doncic in every
love James
postgame.
Worthy. He's
like,
so good.
I love Byron Scott being like, get LeBron the fuck out of here now, ASAP. I love all this because you can't tell those guys what to say. They paved the road for these guys. And for them to now be given the opportunity, hey, man, we're going to put you on our airwaves. You are OG. We respect you, Byron Scott. Say whatever you got to say. You a grown man. If you run into anybody at Clutch, knock one of them out. Like, that's on you. But we're gonna give you the platform to say so. So, for me, man, I love it. I love it. And I hope we continue to see. I can't imagine a Knicks Spurs final. It's going to be more people in that front row than you could ever imagine.
Oh, my God. It's going to be
They're
crazy.
They're going to bring out Ben Stiller. They're going to bring out, obviously, Timothy Chalamet.
Larry David will be there.
Larry David, the LA guy now. He be at
goes
the
to
Laker
the
game.
I think he goes. I think he goes to both. He goes to both. No, but he goes to both.
Okay, let's say he goes to both. Lenny Kravitz can't get in no more. You gonna see somebody. You go see somebody like whoever got an album. You might see Drake pop up because he in rotation now. So they gonna start importing.
You mean Toronto Raptors minority owner Drake?
Right. They gonna start importing people. You gonna start seeing Owen Wilson. Or whichever one with the crooked nose, gonna show up, sit next to Ben Stiller. Who else? You go see Christina Applegate because she married to Ben Stiller. You gonna start seeing all these Ben Stiller. I think you
got the wrong white woman married to Ben Stiller.
Who? I thought it was Christina Applegate.
Nah.
Oh no, Marsha from the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, Christine Taylor. Christine Taylor.
Yeah, her name ain't that important.
And Marsha. That's the one.
But again, when you start seeing Adam Sandler show up in New York, now we talking.
Ooh,
okay. See what I'm saying?
That would be something.
He can go both ways.
I think if the Knicks are in the finals, I think we're gonna see like a Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce sitting courtside type of thing because they like that. She used to go to Knicks games all the time when she lived in New York.
He was trying to bang one of them.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Let me tell you. Let me say this. In all honesty, You won't see Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce at this game because they can't shield them to
That's
walk
probably
all the
true.
way
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
court.
yeah. There's too many people around him. Can I throw a question / hot take at you real quick before we get out of here?
Go ahead, yeah.
You know I'm a Mavericks fan.
Yes.
And still a Mavericks fan. I think Cooper Flag all year I spent telling when people asked me about Cooper Flag because no one was watching except for the Mavericks fans. I was like, he reminds me of like 19-year-old LeBron. Like that doesn't mean he's going to be 25, 26-year-old version of LeBron when he gets to 25, 26, but he reminds me of 19-year-old version of LeBron in ways that are really crazy. I think he's great. That being said, if they could do the draft over again and I could be in control and I was the GM, it would be really hard to not take Dylan Harper over Cooper Flag. And I think Cooper Flag is special, but I think Dylan Harper is a culture unto himself. I think he is like the way that Dame basically like controlled the Trailblazers and their culture for like 10, 15 years and carried that team and they built around him and all that stuff. Maybe it's because Cooper's younger than him. He might not even be. They're probably the same age. But something about Dylan Harper is just so magnetic and dependable that I'm like, it would be so hard to not pick that guy if I had the chance to do so.
That might be the craziest thing you've ever said to me.
It's crazy. You would take Flag.
If Flag was playing right now, you know what you would be saying? How the hell did we not take this guy? You would be Nico Harrison. Like,
but there's still so much of like he has the ball in his hands. He's so gifted, but he still has the ball in his hands and he doesn't quite know what to do with it. Dylan Harper looks like a 10-year vet. He gets the ball and he knows what to do with it. It's crazy.
Because he's the third option. You
think that's why? You don't think it's because Ron Harper's his dad?
No. It's because he's the third option. Because Wemby's standing there, and when Wemby not handling, Stephen Castle.
I know.
And when Stephen Castle not handling, De'Aaron Fox is handling it.
I know.
And then it's him.
When Kyrie comes back, things will look better for Flag. I get that, but like, man, and this was the whole Con Knipple thing, right? Like, should he win Rookie of the Year? I don't know. He's the third option. Like, all he's got to do is shoot
wait
threes.
till the end of the year. Where did he go at the end of the year? Where did he go in the playoffs? Cooper Flag wouldn't have ever played that poorly in the playoffs.
Also,
I think what's happening to Cooper Flag, and I'm glad you're here, because after the firing of Jason Kidd, we can end on this. I think there are three actually, in the NBA, that the NBA needs to get their arms around in a conference room and go, yo, what are your intentions with this franchise? What the Mavs ownership, not the front office, not the head coach, not the players.
Did you say there was three?
There are three teams.
Okay.
What the Mavs ownership is doing should literally be against some type of bylines or rules that you sign when you buy a team. They're purposely destroying that team for an outside purpose of the casino situation that the Adelsons want put on the property wherever they build a new stadium. That's one. Two, I don't know how they let this Portland owner buy this team, and this guy is as cheap as they come. The people of Portland are very similar to the people of San Diego. All we have is the Padres. All they have is the Trailblazers. And you have straddled them with quite possibly the cheapest owner that is still existing in professional sports. That's the second team. And the third team, I don't know who's allowing Vivek Ramaswamy or whatever this guy's name is.
Oh, wow. That is not the one I thought you were going with.
Whoever this guy is that owns the Kings, y'all got to get him in a room and say, buddy, you cut the checks. Now, if you want to keep firing president of basketball operations, if you want to keep firing general managers, that's on you. If you want to keep firing head coaches, that's on you. Stop getting in the way of trades. Stop getting in the way of signings. Your organization looks bad. Because I think that those three teams have unbelievable fan bases. The Dallas Mavericks have shown you we can be one of the best fan bases in the league if you give us something. The Sacramento Kings, with the Chris Webber, white chocolate, Vlade Divac, they've shown you with those cowbells. This all we got. We going to show up to represent it. The Portland Trailblazers have shown you that community. Portland, Oregon. If you give us a good player, we will come. We will buy as many tickets as necessary. The NBA needs to take care of those markets, and they didn't. They didn't in the case of Portland. They're not in the case of Sacramento, and I don't think they have the guts to stand up to old lady Adelson because she a beast. She don't play, and so I think those three teams, with the firing of Jason Kidd, with the firing of Nico, with the trading of Luka, which I believe came from somewhere else. I don't think that came from Harrison. It just feels like in that particular situation, there's a lot of bad and not a lot of good.
You're right. The two teams I thought you were going to bring up, and were the Grizzlies, who are just a mess. And I hate to do this, but like, there's this weird thing in the NBA where owners will sometimes, like, a former player will get the ear of an owner, and they'll just be in control despite the fact that they are completely incompetent.
Because most of them are fans.
Yeah, we saw Isaiah Thomas like basically destroyed the New York Knicks, not
and the Raptors.
And the Raptors, not to mention there was I think there was like
Suns too. He on the way doing it to the Suns.
Right. I think Joe Dumars needs to be banned from the NBA so that owners will stop hiring this man. Like when the Pelicans hired him and someone told me that they hired him, I was like, is that a joke? Is that because it's not funny? And then when right. And then, damn it. Who was the guy he hired? The old, didn't he hire the old Knicks GM who was GM for like a minute? I'm not going to remember. Oh, and they just hired Jamal Mosley to be their head coach. I forgot. Like the Pelicans are like, every move they make in their front office looks like they're trying to lose. And I don't understand because they're definitely not trying to lose. They're trying to win. And they just keep doing the dumbest shit ever. And their fans are just like, we want to root for this team. Why do you keep trying to lose? Vivek, I think it's Ranadive, the Kings owner.
Ramaswamy is the guy who ran for Congress.
Correct. Ran for president, actually. And then Congress or Senate, whatever. Doesn't matter.
He's running for Senate in Ohio.
Yeah, that's right.
One of the two.
Yeah, he's out of control. And Doug Christie has his ear, which is why he's the head coach of the team, despite the fact that he doesn't have any experience being the head coach of a basketball team. What were the other ones?
He was an announcer.
What was the first one? You gave one. I was going to talk about it. Who was announcing?
I said
Doug Christie?
Dallas.
Oh, Dallas. Yeah, I want to talk about Dallas. So you're right that it appeared that the Vegas people came in and they were going to run the team because they wanted to legalize sports gambling in Texas. That vote happened. They lost.
Right.
And like when they lost was right when you started hearing like, oh, maybe Mark Cuban will buy the team back. Like they which shows their hand. They thought that this would give them the inside track to build a casino, legalize sports gambling, all that stuff. And it didn't work. And I think they're just going to resell the team. They might sell it to Cuban, maybe, who was standing behind Donald Trump 2 days ago, talking about how much he loves Donald Trump. And I don't think that's going to go well. And I think you're right that the NBA is going to regret not getting involved in some way and stopping it or pointing it in a certain direction. David Stern would not let this bullshit go on for this long.
No way.
But they're in a bit of a messy situation, and it sucks. And as far as Jason Kidd, when the Knicks were down like 2-1 to the Hawks, there was rumors that the Knicks were going to fire Mike Brown, and Jason Kidd basically told the Mavericks, if that job is open, I want that job.
Right.
And the Mavericks were like, what's wrong with this job? And he's like, I do not want to be a babysitter. Like, this was not on the record. This was rumor, but it was rumor.
Everybody knows this. This is no secret. He wanted the Knick job.
So him being fired, I took to be them going like, look, we're not going for a championship next year. Next year is about continuing the development of Cooper Flag. We're probably going to trade away some pieces.
Kyrie?
And like maybe trade Kyrie. Like they're definitely not trying to win a title next year. They know they can't compete with the Spurs or the Thunder or the Timberwolves or the Nuggets, no matter what they do this offseason.
Right.
So they're going to kind of punt for a year, if not two. And Jason Kidd's like, I'm not here for a punt year. And I think they let him go because I think he found a spot that he wants to go. I don't know where that spot is, but I think
what's open.
I don't know. Bucks hired someone, right?
No.
Actually,
he got fired from there, didn't he?
I know. My first thought was Orlando, actually. This is the first one popped into my head. Taking over for Jamal Mosley. and being like, "Hey guys, you just need an offensive guru to come in here and fix your offense, and your team's going to be awesome."
Man, listen. I think they fired Jason Kidd because Jason Kidd went in there and be like, "Hey, man, listen,
I hope
I'm not with.
so. You know, I
I'm
hate
not."
that man.
Jason Kidd went and say, "Hey, man, I'm not with this direction, man. Y'all want to fire me and keep paying me? I know y'all got the money. I don't want to do this job. I tried to get out of here last year. Y'all wouldn't let me. Y'all gave me more money. I'm not going to turn down more money, but now I want to go, and I know y'all got it. So let me out of here." And they looked around, and went, "Okay, bye." I think that's what happened. I don't
Yeah,
think they fired Jason Kidd because they had some internal structure. I think Jason Kidd didn't want to coach there all year. I think he saw Cooper Flag up close. He really liked him, but he hates everything else. And he does. He's like Steve Kerr. He thinks he's above coaching young players.
I agree with that. I agree with
And
that.
that's
Actually, I don't know if Steve Kerr thinks he's above coaching young players.
don't you dare.
I
I
just
was about
think
to end this show. Don't you dare. Don't you dare
I
say that.
I think it is a lower priority for him than trying to win with Steph and Draymond and all the veterans and everything. But like Wright Thompson for ESPN wrote this really, really long piece that I read last week, where basically he followed Steve Kerr around all season, talked to him like every day. And at the end of it, Kerr was like, honestly, like I'm kind of excited to get back into like developing young players because that has not been a high priority for me. And like I think I don't think he hates developing young players. I mean, maybe he gets into it and he's like, "Oh, now I remember I hate this shit." But Jason Kidd definitely thinks he's above that, and he doesn't want to do that. He just wants to like compete for a championship.
I'm gonna end on this. I'm gonna end on this because this has been awesome. This is a great conversation. That's why we let it go. Shout out to you for coming on. Everybody here loves it. It's been great comments. I always appreciate you coming on anything I do, and you know I'll always come and support you wherever you're at if you need.
Always do.
The situation in Golden State. You can say what you want about James Wiseman. You can say what you want about Jordan Poole. You can say what you want about Moses Moody. Jonathan Kuminga had impact in NBA playoff games against the Knicks, and he couldn't get on the court for a Warriors team that was old and unathletic. Steve Kerr has no interest in coaching anyone but Steph Curry, period. Because they could get rid of Draymond Green tomorrow and he would sleep better, depending on who they got for him.
I
So
think that's probably right.
he is simply tied to one person, and he wants to coach as long as Steph can play and play healthy. Period. This talk about not coaching anymore, that was a farce for him to squeeze a couple more million out of the ownership group.
No, man, I gotta send you this article. Like
Please,
him and his wife decided he was done, and then they
and
won.
yet here we are.
They won the play-in game or whatever, and he got so hyped off the play-in game that he was like, "I can't give this up. I can't give this up. Like I'm so addicted to it. I can't do it." And his wife was like, "You can't give this up."
He was the long pull of the NBA season when you're not in the top four, when you're not playing at the top of your game, and you don't want to coach guys who played in the G League and they don't know how to run a goddamn play. Talk about you, Jonathan Kuminga. It's too frustrating when you want to depend on James Wiseman, but he thinks he's David Robinson, and you think he's JaVale McGee because you got Steph Curry over here and Klay Thompson over here and Draymond Green over here. He don't want to play that role, and you get so frustrated, and he just so happened to get injured on your watch, and you're like, sweet, cool, get him out of here. He don't listen. Anyway, what happened to the Warriors are a criminal. They're a victim of their own crime. Steve Kerr didn't want to coach young players. And to bring it back and to wrap the bow, Jason Kidd, his arrogance doesn't allow him to want to coach young players.
Correct.
Period. And with that, John, thank you. We obviously will have you back. More things need to happen, but obviously we'll have you back. It's been great. We did this show for an hour and 39 minutes. I think I missed 2 of them myself. So you were just solo on my show, and I appreciate that. It's been a great show.
I do what I can. Now, if you can do what you can and use your influence and convince the Padres to move this Dodger game to some other time when it's not starting the same fucking minute as Spurs and Thunder tonight. Like, I gotta watch 2 games at the exact same time. Terrible.
Them first world problems really be fucking people up, bro. Shout out to first world problems, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.